friends and let this party never end.
Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the GSL Code S. I'm Tasteless, and with me is Ro32. How are you doing, man?
I'm so excited. Finally, Code S. Finally,
you
we are
up
home.
with one of these.
I did, man. I can't help it. I'm all smiles. I've been doing StarCraft all day. Just joined State of the Game. Check it out. If you
please
yet.
check that out. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
No problem. We're here doing Code S today. Code S, of course, I think sort of the centerpiece of Golem TV of the GSL.
Yeah.
We have the team leagues. We've had the Super Tournament. We have Code A, but Code S is, I think, the big individual league here.
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, the team league is great. That's where we go to spend our vacations, spend our weekends near the beach. But Tasteless, where we raise the kids, where we make the Pop-Tarts in the morning, it is Code S.
That's right. Now, a few things in Code S have changed rule-wise as far as who advances to where and who drops down to where. Why don't you explain a little bit about that, Ro32?
It used to be bottom two, drop down to the up and down matches. Now only bottom one. And then we're just going to have someone that stays in Code S.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
I think it's actually better this way, to be totally honest. So I'm always happy to see that, here at GSL, we're making a few tweaks here and there to make
tweaks
things
are
better.
The best, man.
We're not stuck in our ways.
No, we are
here
not.
at the GSL. No. So thank you all for joining us here. It's a pleasure to be casting Code S. We were casting the Team League before we had our little vacation. We do have a new sponsor, Pepsi.
It's an exciting sponsor to have.
It's pretty big, man.
I love Pepsi products.
I love Pepsi products, and never anything before that. Pepsi, Ro32. And again, thank you everybody for joining us all around the world. Please, as I always say, spread the word about the GSL. Get on the forums, not the StarCraft forums. We can get on the StarCraft forums, but don't just get on that, because that is going to keep this insular. Get on other gaming sites, other just sites, trendy sites in general, and spread the word, please. Am I right?
You're right, Tasteless.
Thank you.
You are right.
I needed you to affirm that.
No, seriously. Everyone in StarCraft should be watching GSL. If they aren't, then what's the deal? I'm not really sure.
Well, they don't know what they're doing, first of all.
No, clearly they don't. But it's these other people, Tasteless, the people in the Pogs forums.
Yeah.
I know one of you out there plays Pogs still, and you visit a Pogs site. It's fine. I don't care that you're now up to 9,000 Pogs.
Get on the Warhammer board game forums.
There you go.
Start spreading the word.
Well, In Control's already on there talking about it.
Okay, he's already got that taken care of.
All these other games.
Let's go take a look at the results.
Out.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ro32. Let's take a look at the results here of GSL. Code S Day 1. Take it away, Ro32.
And Nesty, of course, making it out. He's invincible and a monster baller. And then we had Trickster in second place over StarTales July. In first place, we had Clyde, second place in Snare in the second group. Then Group C, MVP Genius. He continues to do what he always does, which is always make out of every group he's ever in somehow, some way.
He always does.
I know. And OGS Top in second. That's going to leave Fruit Dealer down to up and down. Virus will just stay in Code S. And then we had Lucira and Coca. Return of the Zergs, Tasteless, take out this group. Marine King Prime dropping to the up and down matches. Slayers Alicia going 1-2, unfortunately for him.
And on to today's matches. In Group E, we have SC Foyu and I'm MVP, also OGS Senio and Zenex Byun.
That is a fun group right there. Also, we have OGS Not an MVP Keen, as well as Hong and Prime and OGS Supernova.
I did see Keen walk into the makeup room today.
Yeah.
You got to go before me. Because you're faster than me, you're more handsome, it's easier.
I know.
They got to use the avatar special effects on me. The way I look.
They got to tuck your tail back in.
It was interesting.
Tasteless trying to mate with the computer with his avatar tail. No,
stick out the back of my blazer. Keen coming into the studio. He is, he's very new to this level of competition. Keen, very good player, but there's a lot of good people in that group.
Both these groups are actually really quite nice. It's hard to actually predict who's going to come out of each of these groups. Especially Group E, Tasteless, because it feels like the two strongest players are playing first.
Yeah.
But both the other players have the potential to take them down.
Yeah. No, it's a tough call, and it always is, no matter where you are in Code S, because everybody's so damn good. I mean, you look at Code
It's been
A,
that way for several seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, it's amazing to see the several months that have passed. You've been doing this for almost a year, roughly a year. I guess it's safe to say a year. To see the difference between when we started out with GSL, even when we started out with the Code S, Code A part of GSL. Oh my God.
Could win GSL Season 1 with my feet right now.
Where's my time machine? I want to go back there and win that. That would be pretty epic, amazing.
Yeah, it would be.
But that will never happen. So,
No, it won't.
But seriously, there was such a tremendous shift in skill and different strategies. It's a real treat.
Well,
all right. We're going to
big
get
S on the floor there, Tasteless.
It's a big code S.
Code
just
S.
in case you're confused.
Notice
이번에는 좀 도전을 하고 싶어요. 캐나다에 왕이 2명이 있어요.
함께 도전을
오!
정종현.
예전에
네.
대회에서 한번 해봤었거든요.
네.
근데 제가 졌었어요. 반갑습니다.
그렇게 반갑지는 않은 사람.
네, 안녕하세요.
그냥 멋있는 척 한번 해본 거예요.
아닌가요? 그렇군요.
편현우 선수.
저한테 개막전 때 처참하게 발리셨는데 아직도 자신감이 있는지 모르겠고
그렇게 뽑고 싶어서 뽑은 게 아니라서.
네.
근데 뭐 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
좋은 경기 하나 없고요. 치즈를 쏘더라도 그냥 끝내버리겠습니다.
Tasteless, you cannot spell revenge without 3 E's.
No, you cannot. You don't need an S in it, but you do need those.
The only E it is not is easy.
So, as you can see, here's our first group. This is an awesome group, man.
Look
This is
at
actually
OGS
so scary.
Zenio, SC Foyu, I'm MVP, and Zenix Beyond.
Dude, these guys are also scary. I think the two people we'd have to focus on the most here would be MVP and SC Foyu. MVP, the previous Terran with the most success. SC, I guess like you could say the current Terran with around the most success, at least in this group.
Oh, certainly. SC, though, not trailing too far behind. Really one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
A very scary group overall, Tasteless, especially in those pictures right there where they look like vampires.
They all look a little bit vampiric, man. Yeah. No werewolves in there.
No.
You could tell they're vampires because they're sparkling.
That's right, man.
Is that right? I don't know the
We don't
Twilight
have any.
stuff.
We don't have any of Team Joshua. What?
I don't
was
know.
it?
A little while ago,
I
somebody,
can't remember.
some girl came up to me and she's like, "Did you know that you look like Edward from Twilight?"
Team Edward.
And
man.
I'm like,
all the way.
you watch Twilight?
Glittery vampires.
I don't know.
I watched 2 of those movies, I think. Yeah. How many movies have there been? 2?
I have
3?
no idea, man.
I don't know. I think I probably saw them all, to be honest. I don't know.
You just
Liquid Rat brought me on a
you
date
just
to one of them,
blacked
man.
out once it started, and
I
then
don't
you
know,
woke
man.
up,
Yeah.
covered with blood on your hands and urine. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I have no idea.
All right, now let's move on here. Our first player, SC Foyu.
Yeah, he is pretty sick. Made it
Yeah.
to... he's just so deep in every tournament, really. He just came in second in that little 3D tournament that we had to Dongray Gu from MVP. But his Terran vs. Terran is quite strong as well. I don't know, man. He's one of the most underrated players, rather. Definitely one of the best players in the world. But doesn't really...
He did just lose to Optimus Prime.
did.
You know, that was a pretty epic series. I didn't expect it to look like that, but you know. So SC, a very, very good player. I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what he's going to have in this. He's been somebody who's steadily improved.
Yeah.
He's a very solid Terran. He's known for that 3-base timing push. But here, and that's of course TVZ, but here we're in TVT. Now, I don't know who's actually better here because MVP, look, he's also looking quite vampiric there as well. MVP is, he's, you know, it's funny. He's like the best Terran in the world when you watch him play.
Yeah.
But then he's managed to fall out first round at some of these tournaments.
It happens, man. And look at that. He's even got first place ranking, but this guy has been in Code B, you know?
He's in Code B right now.
He's all well, was in
Code
A. Code
yeah.
A, I'm sorry.
Well, like now he's in Code B, even though he's like
I was in
passing
Code
him in
C.
Code S.
It's like he's been downgraded, guys. I don't even know. No, MVP probably still the best Terran in the world, but we'll see, man. There's a lot of Terrans
tough to
fighting for that
say.
spot now.
MVP, I think, is basically known. We call him the Game Genie Terran. He was the guy who opened up differently every time.
Yeah, he has a lot
He
of builds
has
in his
more builds than
repertoire.
anybody I've ever seen. I think in actually any matchup, with any race,
He
the most
has,
builds.
Yeah, Tastes. I mean, he has more builds on his bat belt than anybody. He has
does.
more superpower builds than Superman himself. No, that's a joke. Superman could do everything, Tasteless.
That's why he was the worst superhero.
I know, it's the stupidest
Superhero's like he can actually fly.
And I know that
he
there's
can
like,
only be hurt by kryptonite. I'm like, well, I wonder what they're going to use to fight Superman this time.
And then there's kryptonite. You're like, well, he's either going to die or somehow get out of it. And then he gets out of it.
He has
like,
X-ray vision, too. That is an awesome ability, Artosis. All right, so the maps eliminated was Dual Sight and then Metalopolis.
I wouldn't actually like to have X-ray vision. I'd be sitting there playing StarCraft, really concentrating, and then suddenly I see through my monitor into the electronics. I'm like, where all my units go?
Yeah, see, that's why.
And then I look back at my actual screen, and they all died.
That's right. Well, it's tough, man. So that's why Superman was not a good StarCraft player.
No, he wasn't.
Batman probably a lot better though.
Batman would be really.
He'd
good.
be really good.
Yeah. I don't know why we agree.
He'd
on
have
that
he'd have the
but
money for the coaching lessons. So.
There you go, man.
All right, you get coaching lessons from Hydra. All right, here we go. SC against MVP. The game is loading. This is our first Code S match for you and me to cast in a while. It's good to be back here at Code S, guys. So who's going to win? SC, the Terran with the most recent success, or MVP, the guy from a few months ago who's trying to come back now? Let's find out here at the GSL. All right, over here in the red, our first Terran player. You hear bubble sounds?
Yeah, man.
And
It was someone cracking open a Pepsi.
It was somebody open up a Pepsi. That must be what it is. All right.
SC for you.
Wow.
You guys need to see how big Tase's smile is right now.
I just got a banana grin on my face. Now, I see very calculated, very collected. He's had a lot of success. He shouldn't have any reason to be too nervous going into this, but then again, you know, the guy he's against is pretty scary. And that player is down here in the bottom left. A member of the team IM. The Game Genie Terran.
I am MVP.
Oh, yeah, Artosis. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. There's MVP.
All right. So.
And so far, normal builds for both these guys.
Well,
both went for
SC
gas first.
actually got gas first.
Thank you, Pepsi and G-Skill, for sponsoring this event.
There we go. SC has gotten gas first. MVP, Rax first, then gas. So, slightly different builds. Probably see, oh, look at that. Some foreigners in the
I think
audience.
they just got a shot of us on the crane screen. I saw the camera crane drop down here.
Did they?
Yeah.
How do we look?
I don't. We were both doing our nerd hunches.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah. We'll have to tell them to let us know when they do that. So, you know, for the time being, it's going to be an interesting match. It should be a pretty drawn-out game considering the positions they're in. They're both very far away.
They certainly
The fact
are.
that one has gone for Vespian gas first might put him in not the best advantage because whether he's going for quick Hellions or a quick Banshee, he's not going to get there very quickly with either of them.
No, it's going to get there as quickly as the crow flies with the Banshee and slightly slower with the Hellions.
Yeah.
As quickly as the cheetah runs, I guess.
Yes. As they say.
That's what they say, Tasteless.
There's a factory on the way over here. Now, gas first builds with Terran are surprisingly popular when you can compare it to StarCraft 1.
Yeah, gas first builds in StarCraft 1 a little bit different.
Yeah. A little bit different.
Bit more specific. Well, these are a little bit specific, too. I mean, he is rushing up the tech tree.
Well, I think the thing about StarCraft 2 is you can get away with a gas build first much more easily, especially now that we're using bigger maps here.
Certainly in StarCraft 1, it was very specific stuff. Sometimes you saw in TVT. Not a whole lot else.
Yeah.
But we do have a starport and a tech lab on the way for SC. Whereas Mr. MVP looks like he is going to go for, well, some Hellions first, for sure. Probably a drop, maybe some Marines out there as well. We've seen a lot of Marine Hellion medevac type play in TVT lately.
If he does go for mass Hellions, gets more than just these two, he's going to be in trouble when Banshees get there. I mean, Hellions, you know, they're just not that good at air Artosis, despite what everybody's been saying.
I know, man. I don't know what's with all
we
these
need to get
people
them
that are
little
like,
ramps that shoot up.
Yeah. maybe they can be okay against Vikings if the Vikings land and there's way more Hellions. Maybe then Tasteless.
Maybe then.
I tell you.
But otherwise, no.
No, absolutely not. But he does have that starport, so can make a Viking if he needs to. SC already getting Cloak for his Banshee, but a Viking already being gotten for MVP.
Well, a lot of this is going to come down to if the Viking engages the Banshee before Cloak is out.
And also, how far across the map are they? If you're on your opponent's side, he's going to use up a lot of Cloak, Tasteless.
Yep.
A lot of Cloak. All right, Cloak. Here comes the Hellions.
Uh-oh.
Banshee is about to pop out.
But you see this Banshee probably not want to be used defensively in this situation. Well, he is going to lose these Hellions.
Yeah. Will want to take out at least one Hellion, and he does. Another 2 Hellions coming up. He's going to want to wait for the Banshee to fly by.
This is an interesting situation because if MVP could position his Hellions properly and avoid the Banshee, he can just go in the main once the Banshee leaves.
Yeah, but he's going to intercept it with a Viking as well, so I like MVP's position here.
Beautiful.
And that does not make SC very happy at all. Cloak is still not done yet. It's still got quite a ways to go.
But even then, if he gets inside the main base and there aren't enough Marines...
A bunker is even on the way. That shows he is panicking a little bit.
But this is a good kind of panic, one that will actually help him. He needs to get that set up and defend, defend, defend. No Cloak yet. He's so close. He has Cloak now. Will he actually use it?
Might just use repair for now. And look at that. The Hellions do run by, but there's plenty here to clean them up. Those Hellions not so effective yet.
I bet SC is feeling pretty good about this situation. MVP did not even manage to spot the Banshee after its Cloak.
That's right. The original Banshee is actually rushing back towards MVP's base right now. And his Vikings are nowhere to be seen. They are being sent across the map, but turn around. All right, he's going to be all right, Tasteless. Don't worry.
All right. I'll stop breathing into this paper bag then.
I know, it doesn't sound good on the cast either. You got to think about that as well. All right, here we go. The Banshee is starting to harass. There is a Raven being started, but it is quite a ways off as well. And that scan should be able to clean this up.
That should get it.
Barely gets it.
See how I know what's going on, Artosis?
You know, Tasteless.
I knows. You got a lot of Terran games today, guys, so if you're a Terran player, this is definitely the day for you.
6 out of 8 Terran players today.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited about it. TVT's been getting more and more exciting recently.
More and more complex, too.
The more siege tanks, the better. I'm all about watching those siege tanks.
Now, he's continuing to pump out Banshees, so clearly SC is confident that he's going to do more damage with these. We do have one Banshee in the other main.
Of MVP, we have a Banshee right now, but the Raven does pop out. Auto turret goes down. Did not need to do that, but that's okay. Not a huge deal. Auto turret can just sit around like it's a regular turret for a while until eventually it realizes, wow.
It was born with an expiration date, Artosis.
All of us were Tasteless. Well, except for me. I'm going to live forever on the moon.
You're going to live forever. You're going to have your brain put in a...
put in a jar eventually.
Put in a jar. Or you could be like my R2D2.
Yeah, man.
Because for some reason I feel like you might not live as long as me, Artosis, which doesn't make sense because I have a much more unhealthy lifestyle than you, but
that would be Tasteless luck right there.
That would be Tasteless luck.
All right, we do have Blue Flame for both players going up. 3 factories, as you see there, for MVP. And 3 factories for SC.
Wow.
I love how
we're both seeing Mech here.
Yeah, Mech is getting more and more popular in the matchup as people realize that, hey, if you're really smart with siege tanks, guess what, Marine Marauder? Guess what? Ask me as if you're Marine Marauder what?
Hey, what?
No.
What? Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah, well, you say
Marine
that,
Marauder.
but then there's another siege tank there to say no. And you all evaporate, and that's the way
Then it's all
is.
just like, no.
No.
Well, it's a good point you make. Look, I think the problem with Marauder Marine is it's based off the idea that you're going to find the holes in your opponent's defense. He's going to move out arbitrarily.
Yeah.
Now, to be frank, I still enjoy using it, but the siege tank style, it's much more unforgiving.
I love the way MVP is doing it right now, by the way. He's just pumping out pure Hellions. This guy actually has a ton of Hellions. 10 Hellions right now in his main
Viking
base.
is what we're seeing, actually.
Yeah, man. And it's going to be good for a little bit. See some nice little harassment here, but there is a Raven and a bunch of Vikings, so goodbye, Banshee.
Ouch.
Well, the one thing about these Hellions is that obviously they aren't as good as siege tanks at fighting each other. The siege tanks are going to beat the Hellions, but when you make a bunch of Hellions to open, you're going to have map control against someone going the same strategy, but who is also making a lot of siege tanks. So we see SC making more siege tanks here, he's going to be stuck in his base. He can't walk around with his Hellions because MVP has more. So this is going to allow MVP, if he wants, to go ahead and get a quicker third base.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see how this strategy from MVP continues to turn out. It's actually one of the more interesting unit combinations we've seen. And now both these guys go in for Hellions. We've seen this a little bit on the European server. A lot of Hellions.
Hellions are gaining ground everywhere, in every matchup, really, as people realize, hey, these actually do kick ass. Even though during the beta, a lot of people were like, they're bad. Well, that's just because there was like Marauders and Roaches sitting around everywhere.
You had to get more used to controlling the Hellions, too, to really figure out, okay, what do I take? Ouch!
Suddenly, despite having a ton of Hellions out, MVP with just a few up there loses quite a few.
SC's looking pretty good in this game, Artosis, but maybe that'll change with this Hellion drop coming over here.
I don't think so. There is a barracks watching. Look at it. There it is. There it is.
Barracks like, I'm lonely. Why is my life so... Oh, my God.
Radio home. Maybe
now he's the hero.
Back.
Now it's the hero barracks.
Don't you need Marauders? Land me. Give me my chance. And SC going to be able to clean
this is going to be
up.
pretty close. He gets 1 out, 2 out, and all 4 out now. The Vikings just barely not stopping it in time.
Looks like he will do a little bit of damage, despite being caught so badly there. Kills off a few SCVs.
And that did not pay for itself.
Now, MVP right now with 45 SCVs against 51 of SC, so even though he killed a few there, still a little bit behind. Both sitting around 15-ish Hellions. Well, I guess you guys can see that now, 13 to 15. 4-4 on the Vikings, 3-2 on the tanks. Very, very close right now in standing. That's a lot of Hellions. This is actually looking more and more like StarCraft 1 TVT. It's making me so happy, Tasteless.
It's weird, actually, to see this Hellion versus Hellion here.
It's very reminiscent of Vulture versus Vulture.
Yeah.
But Vultures kill each other somewhat slowly.
In Vulture versus Vulture in StarCraft 1, you tended to see that on a lot of maps, and Terror Sermon was pretty open. And this is that map in this case.
Absolutely. One funny thing is that things being plumped up in this matchup, Tasteless. Blue Flame Hellions kill each other awfully quickly with all their splash and the blueness of their flames. Well, MVP is getting a quicker third command, but we do see the third command also for SC.
All right, so far MVP's been more of the aggressor, especially with the Hellions, but hasn't had much success with them. Now, SC's army's looking pretty scary. In fact, the supply here just slightly ahead here for SC. Not to say that one's in the lead or the other one's behind. Since they have different compositions. MVP's trying to sneak forward. He wants to get to this natural. Might be tough for him to do that, though.
SC sieging up, but the high ground is MVP's at the moment.
He's just out of range, even with Viking vision there. SC cannot hit that siege tank.
MVP, in fact, having to go home with his Vikings and Ravens because, well, his opponent has more. You do not want to risk that, especially with point defense drones out.
I'm actually surprised MVP's staying there. I mean, there's no way for him to know if his opponent was inching forward and trying to attack him.
Well, he's going to run now. Has that watchtower for the moment. And immediately, SC unsieging and moving forward.
Yeah, SC's going to pursue here. MVP loses this part of the map.
You know, Tasteless, this is becoming just so standard, this mech style play. Both of them starting their +1 at almost exactly the same second. Wow. All right, well, we do have the third base landed for MVP right now. Right there. A couple gases about to be built. Phantom geysers
and
at
of course,
the moment.
You need to get those gases as quickly as possible if you are meching. The cost of factories and siege tanks and any other additional units like Vikings or Ravens is pretty gas intensive. That's a big difference between this and Marine King Prime style Marine Marauder. All right, we have another engagement here.
And MVP has to be careful, Tasteless. The high ground going to SC there.
He's like very willing to hold these pretty weak positions.
Yeah, that
you
is
notice.
not...
Even look at the siege tank line. It's not even like... It's like the one of the front's going to cover for these guys? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, he's spread towards an attack from the other angle.
He's doing actually what a lot of Terrans made mistakes in StarCraft 1 pro gaming TVT was like actually not having good tank placement. Just sieging up a bunch at once. Well, now you can see he's adjusting for that. He's actually making them in a little bit more of a line. That, hold that thought.
A lot of SCVs and a newly dropped mule. Look like they may be going down here. And yes, quite a few. Don't worry, Casus, a Thor is on the way.
All right, thanks.
It's going to take a while to get there. because he's a Thor and he's very strong.
Oh,
no!
Oh, he's got to run back. SC needs to pull back.
Wow, very
Wow,
carefully
taking a
done.
lot of casualties there.
Really cute move by SC, but MVP just setting up in time.
Oh my God, but MVP's over here. He's already taken out more of the SCVs here for SC.
Nice splash damage there, taking out all those SCVs. And suddenly MVP takes the SCV lead 50-48. But both them producing a ton of SCVs. Should be caught up pretty quick.
All right, more and more siege tanks coming out now. SC's holding his position, but his army is actually much smaller because he made that blunder. I don't know if he should even continue to hold this. I think he should do what MVP did and run, because otherwise this can happen.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to happen. In fact, he even has those Thors in there to tank damage and take out Vikings if need be. Look at that, just walking right up, just destroying, taking out that Phoenix. And MVP takes a commanding lead from there. In fact, not only is he up 20 supply, but 10 of the supply of SC are the early Marines he made, which are pretty useless at this point in the game.
You know, it's funny because we saw MVP in a similar position of holding a location he probably couldn't. And then he analyzed it and said, no, I need to get out of here. This is not going to work. He backed up. SC not making the same good judgment call that MVP did.
Yeah, you know, the more that the game tends towards mass siege tanks and the positioning of said siege tanks, the more it's going to favor the StarCraft 1 Terran players, such as MVP, who, you know, he did this for probably 5-6 years. He was just professionally moving around siege tanks.
And again, just for clarification, guys, that's because, hold that thought. I'll get on that in a minute.
We do have a point defense drone
here.
Definitely helping out.
And it looks like, I don't know if one of the back is actually covering here.
Well, the Thor's coming up. They're going to change this battle quite a bit. And both point defense drones look like they are going to be used up completely.
Just so you guys know what Artos was talking about, this is just so similar to StarCraft 1 Terran vs. Terran, which is what he meant. MVP playing this just like he did very well in StarCraft 1.
Exactly. Thank you, Tasteless.
You're welcome.
I don't want nerds getting mad at me.
What's he talking about? That's what they sound like. Everybody knows what they sound like. All right. So, MVP is still controlling the map. The siege tank count here,
it's actually pretty close. 16
very close.
for SC, 18 for MVP. But
I think the big factor is the 4 Thors here for
Thors.
MVP.
You know, that could be a lot of siege tanks. That could be 8 siege tanks, Tasteless. But he's decided to get some Thors. And that's going to be helpful in a lot of ways. It's going to help him to win any air battles. They tank a lot of damage as well.
Now, the 4th base is about to be grabbed here by SC. MVP is always one step ahead right now. And as far as being ahead goes also, there's 182, 184 supply for MVP, 154 for SC. So SC has some problem solving to come up with here.
And he still has 7 Marines, so 7 of that is actually worthless supply that will not be used at this point.
And also
Marines,
MVP has more SCVs too. So SC's really behind here.
And that was an interesting 3 siege tanks to leave right there.
Yeah.
But you don't really want to lose units like that. There's careful.
There's only one Zanaga Watchtower at this point in time SC can control. MVP is continuing to do soft contains versus hard contains. The soft contain is where you siege up, hold a position, and then move again. A hard one is if you set up turrets and just try to keep it the whole game.
And look at those cute 2 little Hellions. Just overlooking the cliff, saying,
holding hands.
What? No guys are for you. They're on a little date.
Little Hellion date.
They're on Expansion Overlook Pass.
Watching it drive through.
They're sitting out on top of their Hellions, looking each other in the eye. One of them looks away and blushes. It's a really romantic sight.
I like how MVP is going back and forth with this army, and basically he's making SC scan a lot.
Yeah. He's like, all your mules belong to scans.
Yeah.
And SC's like, I guess so.
Uh-oh.
Keep doing that.
This is so smart. Just one siege tank, too.
Oh, yeah,
that's enough
beautiful.
to make the SCV stop mining and have SC's army relocate.
Yeah. If he has to go over and clean that up, what's he going to do? Bring his Vikings? I guess he could do that, but then he doesn't have any Vikings for a confrontation.
Uh-oh.
And there they go. This plan has long been in place.
I know, now they hold hands and shoot their little blue flames at him.
The Bonnie and Clyde Hellions. Right near the cliff. Will they go over?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, MVP scans her and says, his army is not quite as good as mine. MVP might actually want to engage this here. Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, and he does have an additional +1 attack on SC, but we'll see if that ends up mattering. Should be microing those Thors pretty hard now. Walk them right forward. Let them take the brunt of it.
Ouch, and they certainly did.
Yes, they did. But that allows him to kill some additional siege tanks. And if we look at the numbers now, 17 siege tanks for MVP, 13 for SC, but
that was
four Thors against 3. Or 1, rather.
This is a really good... Whoa, until that happened. I was going to say that was a really good trade favoring MVP.
Yeah, but that was a big
That was a big mistake there. He just walked several tanks in there. But note, SC is not using that base location over there. He can't, and oh my god.
Oh, this is sloppy.
Is that?
If he micro that forward, he doesn't lose anything there.
Yeah.
Oops. Well, you know, he's quite busy with doing stuff, and will re-expand to that 12 o'clock position.
Well, they're fairly even supplies, but again, SC has not had a 4th base, so once it gets set up, maybe their economies will balance out. But for the time being, SC really not allowed to make any more mistakes.
No, he is not, but his supply is surprisingly going up pretty quickly. MVP has made a few mistakes here. In fact, it looks like he wants to go and attack into this location, but 3 siege tanks there. Not a good call.
All right. MVP's got to be careful. SC's actually managed to get all the way over to the far left. A Zelnaga Watchtower. And this is a pretty big shift in the game here from position battles. SC wasn't even close to controlling the far right Zelnaga Watchtower for a while. So there's been a little bit of a seesaw game here. I think a big question now is, when is MVP going to take his 4th base, and where's that going to be?
You know, MVP is...
I'm sorry, I'm in 5th base. Yeah, go ahead.
MVP is switching over quite heavily to no more Thors. He's just kind of staying on siege tanks, popping... Well, I guess he's making a few Thors now, but really Hellion heavy, really siege tank heavy right now, and has 12 more SCVs. So that's actually going to make a little bit of a difference, especially as he takes a 4th base.
Oh, this should be...
Oh,
he's got to be careful there. These siege tanks are sieged up. Those in the front will take a lot of damage before he loses those.
Positioning, but does not quite target only siege tanks.
Yeah.
Does hit the Hellions a little bit, which are not very valuable in that battle.
Whoa, suddenly MVP's all over the place. I don't know.
Quite careful.
Yeah, he's not really controlling that Zelnaga Watchtower up there. But look at this Artosis slipping in.
Slipping right in, kind of kill off a lot of SCVs with this Tasteless.
This explains a somewhat crass-looking maneuver to just jump over there with the siege tanks. He wants to get in here and take out the SCVs, getting SC out of position here. And this is huge, man. He's getting so many SCVs.
Yeah, he really
and SC still didn't run away with all of them, so I guess he wants almost every single SCV to die.
He's actually got +3 on those now, and those things end up killing almost 20 SCVs. SC at 46, 57 left for MVP.
Battle cruisers.
Oh my. Oh, Tasteless.
Oh, Artosis. Oh, yeah.
It gets me excited. CBCs. Siege Tank PC. Yeah. You want to know who has a lot of experience with this? MVP, man.
Yeah, man. Just like Stargate 1. Oh, dude, we had missed this action earlier. We don't know how long that's been going on over there, but
6 kills and 11 kills. Might have been a while, or maybe that was kills for something else. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know.
It's like open up your cereal box and find it.
This actually changes everything because our observer didn't catch this earlier. So we don't know how long he hasn't had that. But he's going to have to reclaim that MVP will.
Yeah. He's making battle cruisers. He does not really have anything to quickly go over there and remove it, but he has sent 2 Thors over, which is actually really surprising. That's a lot of units to send against 2 siege tanks that are damaged.
MVP trying to expand again. He has to control this position. He actually doesn't even really control that position where he's expanding. SC, if he realizes that it's being taken, he can go in there and attack that. But it's not clear that SC is fully aware of what's going on. I think SC probably expects the opponent to expand to the bottom right. And very nice, once again, he takes this location, and it's raining mules, Artosis.
Hallelujah, Tasteless.
It's raining mules. Now, this is funny because SC actually had a great opportunity here to hit that left expansion. He didn't know about it, only because these siege tanks were set up over here. And now MVP is going to get an additional base up before SC.
Indeed, he is. Still, lots of moving and repositioning around the map. This is actually my favorite TVT I've seen on this map. I'm going to go ahead and announce it now. Everyone write it down. Artosis' favorite TVT on Tolerant Altar is this one. So much positional movements, just pure mech. It's great to see.
Now, I love how he's hiding the battle cruisers here.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
Because when you have battle cruisers come out against just some Thors, the Thor's tiny little amount of damage against the battle cruiser high armor.
Right.
Lol. You say lol, Tasteless?
No.
Yeah, you can't.
Said Raffle.
You say Raffle, LaMayo.
Raffalapago Islands.
So some of my favorite islands.
Yeah. Very rare islands. All right, so we have siege tanks here. MVP is actually in such good position, guys. I can't even emphasize enough. He's doing a double expand while hiding battle cruisers.
Yeah.
So right now, basically, here's what SC is thinking. He's thinking, oh, crap, MVP is taking the map. He's going to have more siege tanks than me. I got to figure out how to outposition this. But actually, MVP is sitting there like Dr. Claw with his cat in his hand.
You're actually quite right.
You can't see his face, and he's making battle cruisers.
Now, here's the thing. There are no gadget starports for SC. He only has one starport with a reactor.
That's right.
And he's not getting upgrades for Vikings while the 1-1 is being researched for these battle cruisers.
So once
he's actually just maxing out on mech, on ground mech. See?
Exactly.
Just one. He can't go gadget Vikings. He can't do it.
He can't.
This is actually the world without Inspector Gadget.
No, this is exactly
Penny alone cannot save SC.
No, Penny can't do it alone.
No.
Penny can't stop battle cruisers.
No, she
so
can't.
basically what we're going to see here is SC continue to, oh my God, maybe SC's just going to get run over here.
Yeah,
but
well, half of his army is not there, Tasty, so just taking this opportunity to clear out some siege tanks. Beautiful move that's also going to free up supply to make some more battle cruisers.
Now, SC is freaking out. He's going to go to the bottom right and try to exchange bases, but again, here's what he doesn't know is these battle cruisers are coming.
Yeah. In fact, he could send those battle cruisers out and just attack, move through the siege tanks, but MVP biding his time. He wants a definite win. He waits for 4, and now, Tasteless, now is the time.
The battle cruisers are moving out. Oh, beautiful. Here we go.
Just once again sieging up in that location.
Battle cruiser guy smoking his corncob pipe. Such badass.
That's
apparently there's a smoking room with a battle cruiser. Now this is where it's going to be funny.
Yes.
Only that Thor can attack air units.
And the Thor
he scans. He's like, come on.
Yeah. He's going to try to kite those 2 very red Vikings. See how that works out for him.
And he should actually just sack that one battle cruiser and have the rest of these battle cruisers take out these siege tanks.
Really nice kiting.
Pew, 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 pew.
That's a lot of pews.
Pew, 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 pew. Pepe le pew, 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 pew.
Oh, Tasteless. SC is not even building more starports right now.
Well, SC's actually dead. He's like kiting these 2 Vikings.
Guess how much gas he has?
How much?
57.
Wow.
It's not a lot.
All right, well, here come all the Thors. They're going to die, too. Uh-oh. He's doing an MVP. He's landing mules.
Well, that might actually even be smart at this point.
He could, like,
even
repair.
Though he's dead, yeah.
Nobody's chasing with him. He's like, get back here. The mules are going to tickle him.
Tickling the Thors. Those are...
Don't touch my Thor armpits. Look, he's actually blocking.
Well, 3 Vikings. Let's see how many Thors they can kill. Or rather, how many...
Wow. You know, I got to say, I'm actually blown away. Oh, nice, Yamato God.
Well, so is SC, Tasteless. So is SC. Dropping more and more.
GG.
Excellent game.
What a game to start today out with.
I'm completely happy. And so is MVP, drinking some blue mystery liquid and having a huge smile on his face.
Surely that blue mystery liquid is a Pepsi product.
Most likely. So, SC, he's like, well, I just played an unbelievably good game. And he did. You're right, SC, you did. But MVP really smartly switched his tech into Battlecruiser. That's one thing you can do in TVT. You don't actually have to be max. You look at some of these other matchups, your opponent's max, you're like, well, I kind of have to get max. You know, Protoss is max, I have to get max as Zerg. You know, it's just the way it is. But in this situation, I mean, he has so many siege tanks, you actually can't break that. Whether you have 200 supply or 180 supply, it doesn't matter if they're in siege mode, man. It doesn't matter. And that's why he switched to battle cruisers, and that's why he won.
Look, I love that kind of play. It's similar to, you know, when people would get ahead in Protoss vs. Terran and just start getting carriers. It's like, look, you could keep playing this little position game, this little chess game, but when you're this late, what do? You actually just get a tech they can't prepare for. Because if he tries to go battle cruisers as well, SC does,
you can't go battle cruisers later.
You can't do it later because you just have less, and they will have more siege tanks if you're doing that because they the person who went for it first has more. So you just like push anyways. So
you can go Vikings, but you need upgrades for those.
Yeah. You can go Vikings, you have to time it out perfectly, and you have to hide your Vikings, too.
Because then your opponent goes Vikings, and then who has more upgrades and all these other things?
Yeah.
All this silliness, and then Thors are in there, and everything gets messy. MVP cut to the chase, though, Tasteless.
He did. He did a good job.
He did.
Well, you know, here's the thing about MVP is he's so solid at Terran vs. Terran.
He is.
He's really good at TVZ, he's really good at TVP, but...
Well, he's going to become more and more solid because it's just evolving to be just like StarCraft 1, which, again, he has 5 or 6 years of games exactly like this, where you just keep on positioning, repositioning.
I can't emphasize that enough because Terran vs. Terran in StarCraft 1 was a really complicated, vexing matchup with a lot of different scenarios you could be in.
Takes a lot of
I think it's one of the reasons why MVP was so good at StarCraft 2 was Terran vs. Terran was good at StarCraft 1. So he comes out here now, and you could see he has very good game understanding. He knows when to pull out. He knows when to engage. And I think it's one of the reasons why we've seen success coming from him. This is the GSL, sponsored by Pepsi.
Codes.
Where's the Pepsi drinks? We should have Pepsi drinks up here.
Yeah, we should. Someone drop the ball.
I want a free Pepsi stuff. How else am I going to go back behind the stage and steal Pepsi products to fill my fridge with? You know, remember when we had Infinity of our previous drink
what
sponsors?
happened? I thought Infinity never ran out.
I don't know.
It does.
It does. When you change
Tasteless divided it by 0, man.
I did.
That's what happened to that Infinity.
I broke that.
All these mathematicians that watch us are holding their head. They're like, no!
You can't do that.
You can't divide by 0. It's undefined. It's like, no, man. Tasteless did it. The Pepsi's gone. Explain it. Pepsi comes in. Tasteless divides by 0. The Pepsi goes out.
We got Xenio now. And Xenio's looking a little bit dark.
He looks like someone just broke his heart.
He does. Wow. All right, so Xenio is a very good Zerg player. We've seen a lot of success from him beforehand. I wouldn't say he's like amongst the most feared Zergs. I'd say he's right below that.
I think he had a little period back when Idra was still around where I was like, oh, you know what? Xenio right now is playing like he's top 5-ish Zerg. He has fallen off a little bit since then, but maybe that's just the other Zergs just getting better so quickly. He's still a very strong competitor.
We also haven't seen as much of him on the stage compared to some of our other Zergs like Nesty. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Might be just a minor slump, but still, I like Xenio's play since about, I think, 4th season or so. I finally was like, all right, Xenio, I'm a fan.
He's good. One of the best Zergs on OGS. And I think it's going to be an interesting match here, especially considering the player he's against in this series. You know, Xenio, though, it's interesting to see his ranking actually here, 24th. I guess it makes sense, though, if you look at the overall ranking of everybody here. Here's his opponent, Yun.
Yep.
Yun looking handsome.
He looks like he should be like in a boy band.
Yeah, he does. He looks much more vampire.
He does, yeah.
He does.
I would be scared.
He'd like
if I
look
met
at
him
you
in
like
an
that,
alley.
and then he'd open his mouth, and it'd be like
with fangs. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what vampires do before they bite Schnick. They go.
Okay.
Dude, it's common knowledge. I know why you're laughing at this.
Well, no,
They drink what you think is wine, but it's probably blood, and go blah blah, and then you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know, man. This guy. Well, it's Bjorn. Used to be a Protoss pro, now a Terran pro. Knocked Artosis out of a GSL qualifier. Really.
We don't have to talk about that.
It was terrible.
Artosis had to lose because somebody
had to lose so we could see him here today, man.
Now the map is Terminus Re. So, with a map like this, it's
huge map.
Yeah, it's a very big map.
Biggest map there
it's,
is.
It's actually one of the weirder maps to see late game Terran vs. Zerg because it's like Muta's trying to stop Medivacs. You know what I'm talking about?
That's quite true. The map is so big that late game you can drop Medivac against Mass Muta.
Yeah, I mean, normally when you see Mass Muta, if I see Terrans continue to go Medivac and then the Mutas just kill them, I'm like, okay. But on this map, if you split up Medivacs, it's pretty hard for Zerg to deal with. So that's something Zerg has to keep in mind. Zerg sometimes has to get Spine Crawlers with their expansions. It's tough.
Looks like their eliminated maps were Zelnaga Fortress and Belshire Beach. I'm not surprised by either of those.
No,
do not like Zelnaga Fortress, especially against Terran. Belshire Beach
is so new, and it doesn't seem like people are practicing on it a lot. You know what I mean?
It's gaining a little bit of steam, but you're absolutely right. They haven't had as many games, not as prepared for it, and I feel like it's a nice map reserve anyway, so good choice there. Well, Tasteless, the countdown is beginning.
Oh my God, it's happening.
I can't wait. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Xenio? Is it going to be Bjorn? I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of Bjorn.
Xenio against Bjorn, Zerg against Terran. Who's going to win? We're going to find out here. The map is loading. The map is Terminus Re. So get ready for this epic Codas game here at the GSL. Thought I'd close it out in time. Our Korean commentators had more to say. All right, now we're going to close it out, so get ready.